our regular school board meeting. I'm going to call this meeting to order at 6:08. And we will once again, per the agenda, stand and say the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Mr. Castillo, can you take roll?
Yes, Madam Chair. Ms. Sandra Garcia.
Present.
Mr. Roberto Trevino is not here. I, Mr. Martin Castillo, is here. Ms. Leticia Quintero.
Present.
Mr. Ray Farias.
Present.
Mr. Jesus Amaya.
Present.
Mr. Leonel Garza.
Present.
Dr. Gonzalo Salazar.
Present.
Ms. Elizabeth Neely.
We didn't have anybody signed up for public audience or public comment. So we'll move on to item number 7, district presentations. Mr. Salazar.
Mrs. Garcia, members of the board, January is Board Recognition Month. For the past several years, we have had children, some of our students, come in and serenade you, share poems. This year's a little different. We couldn't have our students here, but the recognition, the very well-deserved recognition, would not be denied. And so we have an electronic recognition. So at this time, we'd like you to turn your attention to your screens. This year's theme is Navigating to Success. We don't have audio. You didn't get a notebook?
Greetings, Los Fresnos CISD board members. Because of the safety protocols in place for COVID-19, our school board appreciation presentation will be virtual. In keeping with this year's theme, Navigating to Success, we felt it appropriate to express how you, our board members, are steering Los Fresnos CISD to greatness. We hope you enjoy our presentation.
As school board members, you are much like a ship's navigator, focusing on planning a journey, advising the captains, and assuring hazards are avoided. More so than any other year, it is evident that this year your decision to curate and steer our waypoint, ensure to carry our precious cargo, teachers, staff, and students to their destined goals.
With the course changes that took place this year, your decision on the method to navigate our district include not only the traditional face-to-face methods, but electronic methods that we're not commonly accustomed to. It is through these decisions that we were able to accurately determine our position and provide our teachers, staff, and students with all the technological equipment, software, application, and the tools needed to continue our voyage to the end, including the opportunities to enhance their technological knowledge and skills. You focus on the safety of all and secure these traditional and electronic methods that allow us to measure progress toward the goal of a safe and efficient voyage.
Our school board members serve as the chart plotter, which is the most important electronic navigation unit. Without it, the community and the schools would have no direction. We are integrated together so we can steer towards excellence. You are able to guide our ship under any conditions, and for that, we thank you.
Whether we choose to use traditional or electronic navigation, a true sailor needs to know the traditional methods as well, because we never know when technology will fail us. Our school board members are not only experts in leading our community throughout traditional methods, but have also adapted to the new wave of technology. As we continue to navigate through uncharted waters, we rely on our Los Fresnos school board members as they play a fundamental role in ensuring we continue to sail towards success.
It is because of your swift and data-driven decision-making that we are able to reach high levels of success. Thank you for your dedication to navigating our teachers and students to success.
It has been said we cannot control the wind, but we can direct the sun. This past year has presented unique challenges to navigate, but your leadership has been unwavering. You have charted a course that protects our students and ensures that progress will continue for all students.
In education, a B is often considered second place, a silver medal to the gold of an A. But what we all need is a B, a point B, a goal or destination. To reach our point B, to discover our waypoints along the journey, we all need is leadership and focus.
Only through the leadership of the Board of Education can we all reach our destinations and become the best students, teachers, and people that we can be.
You have led with a vision to the future that has enabled us to achieve the goals we have set for our students and the community of Los Fresnos. By fostering and developing relationships with teachers, staff, and parents, you have created opportunities for collaboration, and we have placed us on a path to success.
Thank you, board members, for your dedication and support and creating a road to our success.
As school board members, you are very much like a compass. You allow us to navigate our learning journey, but you do this by always pointing us in the right direction. Just like sailors use parallel rulers, as a board, you are always collaborating to plot our path. As all great sailors, you make sure to chart your plots through effective policy, ensuring that our destination, graduating, is always the goal of our sailing journey.
Navigating us to success cannot be done without dividers. Sailors use this tool to plot out the distance between point A and point B. Daily, you're making difficult decisions and plotting our journey while always focusing on our future success. LFCISD board members, thank you for using your traditional navigation skills to steer us in the right direction.
Landmarks are objects or features of importance that help us recognize where we are. Our school board members are the landmarks of Los Fresnos CISD. When we stay within the sight of them, we know we are safe and supported.
Thank you so much to our amazing school board members for being our landmarks. Because of you, we know that every decision that is made is done with the students' best interest in mind. May you know how important you are to all of us here at LFCISD.
I will sail my best, sing with us, till the river runs dry, like a bird upon the wind. These waters are my sky, I'll never reach my destination. No, if I never try to, I will sail my vessel till
Thank you.
I think we feel the way that teachers feel. You know, you miss the kids so much. I mean, that was great. That was nice. The kids, you could tell, I mean, they practiced, they looked sharp. But gosh, I miss having them here. And I know the teachers feel the same way. They miss seeing all the kids in school. So thank you very much. Anybody else have anything they want to say? That's always a special time. I mean, I feel like we don't need it for us. I mean, we do it for different reasons, but we love the exercise for the kids, and we just love seeing the kids. So thank you. I know they went through a lot to get it done differently.
Thank you, Mrs. Garcia. Each year it is really a joy. It is really fun to recognize all of you and tell you thank you. Yeah, you do it for different reasons, but you also sacrifice time away from family in service to the community. You're very supportive. I can't say enough about the support you give administration, but we appreciate all that you do and the high expectations that you communicate day in and day out. And we're going to continue to work to make you all proud. Thank you for your service.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to item number 8, district reports. And please thank all the kids. I mean, I know it was different, all different campuses, but thanks to the principals and let the kids know that we were very impressed with them. We move on to item number 8, district reports. Mr. Salazar, I'll let you go over.
Mrs. Garcia and members of the board, we present to you our monthly reports this evening. We do want to point out on our tax collection reports that there was some disparity between when we compare the tax collections at this time last year to what we've collected to date. But there's also in the cover letter, there was an explanation. There was one taxpayer, a very large taxpayer, a real estate company that had not yet paid their taxes for this year. And we are expecting that to be different in our next report. So we'll keep an eye on that and bring you that information when the time comes. Are there any questions on our, actually there's one more item on summary and revenue of expenditure status reports. This morning we were having a conversation that we felt would be good to make you aware of as it pertains to revenues. This year is different to any other year, and we didn't know exactly what to expect when there was a lot of uncertainty when we were putting a budget together. And I'm going to ask Pablo to speak to revenues, in particular local revenues.
Thank you, Dr. Salazar. And ultimately, what we're trying to convey to you is just to ensure that we are going to end up feeling the COVID impact, in our local revenues. Because since it's not being necessarily a normal year, we don't have field trips the way we normally do, so that affects our transportation department. The kids and the teachers are not necessarily all on campus, so we don't have all the a la carte sales that our nutrition used to have. So it's little random things like that. And in the scope of things, compared to a $100 million budget, it doesn't necessarily impact the district as a whole, but it does impact those departments, individually. And so it's one of those things. So I was making aware, Dr. Salazar, that we are going to be monitoring it and provide you the information, but it's one of those things that was very hard for us to budget for, and we are seeing the impact, halfway through the school year.
So the thing about the transportation department is that although we don't have, they don't get to bill the schools for these field trips. The field trips also don't happen, and so the expenditure is not there. So that's going to be a wash. Where we won't have a wash, so to speak, is in the child nutrition department. We usually monitor expenditures there by a measure called meals per labor hour, where we don't have the number of meals being consumed, but we still have staff that's working regular numbers of hours, and they're doing a great job and have been since this pandemic hit, where we are providing curbside meals. In some cases, we're still taking meals out to households. And then there are increasing numbers of students participating in face-to-face instruction, but we still don't have the amount of meals being prepared and consumed. So that department there will be an impact in that department, but we're doing everything that we can to make sure it remains in the black. Any questions from anyone?
Thank you for giving us that more detailed explanation. There aren't any questions on district reports. We'll move to annual investment report.
Thank you, Mrs. Garcia. Under the Public Funds Investment Act, we are required to bring you this information. Each year, we place an item on the agenda to update you on annual investments. And so at this time, Mr. Basaldua, again, will give us an overview and highlights of the annual investment report.
Thank you, Dr. Salazar. And the annual investment report that you have that begins on page 38 of Board Book, it ends up being something that we are required to present to you based on the Public Funds Investment Act. And what it does is there's different rules and regulations that we need to ensure that we comply, within our Public Funds Investment Act. And one of those things is ensuring that not only do we provide quarterly reports, that we also end up providing an annual report each and every year. Part of that annual report, which is before you, ends up ensuring that we are in compliance, with the investment strategies of the district, and also confirms that all the different management internal components were also followed. And page 39 of the board book, of the investment report, provides you, a brief Q&A where it kind of documents where we are in compliance. The external auditors assist us, in the manner in which they ensure that we do comply with the different strategies. And there's also a year-end detail by fund that is on page 43 of board book. They are the beginning balances by your general fund, your non-major funds, your proprietary, and your fiduciary. So the very first column, of that report ends up showing that we had a beginning balance of 66 million and our ending balance being of 74 million. The 74 million that we end up having, again, it's primarily in our different pools and money market accounts that it does end up showing a difference, with our year-to-date interest that we ended up having of the 700,000. 700,000, again, the market did fluctuate, interest rates did fluctuate. So the 700,000 is not necessarily where we would have strategized for it to be. But again, it was in an area where we felt it was appropriate, being safe within our pools. And again, there is no recommendations because again, we have no type of policies or changes to the investment policies, but we are required to bring it to you and bring this to your attention. And I'm here to entertain any type of questions you may have.
Does anyone have any questions? Thank you, sir. We'll move on to item number 9, consent agenda. There are 5 items listed on consent agenda. I'll entertain a motion now. Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Castillo.
Madam Chair, I'm make a motion to approve consent agenda items as written.
Thank you, Mr. Castillo. Do I have a second? Mr. Amaya will second. Is there any discussion? There being no discussion, all those in favor of accepting consent agenda items 1 through 5, please raise your hand. Mr. Garza, are you abstaining? Okay, all in favor? Consent agenda passes. We're now on to action items. Item number 9. The first item on the list is to discuss and take action to authorize administration to accept a donation of $10,000 for device replacement from Hamilton ECIA USA. Do I have a motion? Mr. Amaya?
Madam Chair, I move that we take action to authorize the administration to accept a donation of $10,000 for device replacement from Hamilton CIA USA.
Do I have a second? Mr. Farias? I have a motion, second, any discussion? There being no discussion, all those in favor, please raise your hand. The motion passes unanimously. Item number 2, consider and approve budget amendment number 4 for fiscal year 2021. Do I have a motion? Mr. Farias?
I move that we approve or consider and approve budget amendment number 4 for fiscal year 2021.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Castillo. All those in favor of approving budget amendment number 4 for the fiscal year 2021, please raise your hand. Mr. Garza? Mr. Farias, did you raise your hand? I didn't see. Okay. Motion passes unanimously. I think we're like cold from the weather or something. Everybody's moving really slow. Okay, item number 3, discuss and take action to authorize administration to file a waiver to TESS for the 2020-2021 school year. Do I have a motion? Mr. Amaya?
Madam Chair, I move that we, hold on, these are stated a little bit differently. I move that we authorize administration to file a waiver to T-test for 2020-2021 school year.
Do I have a second? Ms. Quintero? Any discussion? There being no discussion, all in favor of authorizing administration to file a waiver to TTTS for the 2020-21 school year, please raise your hand. Motion passes unanimously. Item number 4, discuss and take action to rescind previous action related to CPS number 2021 through 20 to 33, copier fleet, and authorize the superintendent to reissue and update requests for competitive sealed bids for the copier fleet service. Do I have a motion? Mr. Amaya?
Madam Chair, since I made the original motion on this, I move that we rescind previous action related to CSP number 20-21-33, copier fleet, and authorize the superintendent to reissue an updated request for competitive seal proposals for copier fleet services.
Do I have a second? Mr. Garza seconds. Is there any discussion or any questions? There being no discussion, all those in favor of item number 4, please raise your hand. Motion passes unanimously. Item number 5, discuss and take action to approve an MOU between Los Fresnos CISD and BCSF Health and Human Services for the RGV project. Do I have a motion? Mr. Castillo?
Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve.
Thank you. Is there a second? Mr. Farias will second. Is there any discussion? Any questions? There being no discussion, all those in favor of item number 5, please raise your hand. The motion passes unanimously. Item number 6, discuss and take action to approve an educational experience affiliation agreement between Los Fresnos CISD and UT-RGV. Do I have a motion? Ms. Quintero? Is there a second? Is there a second? Mr. Amaya? Any discussion? There being no discussion, all in favor of approving an educational experience affiliation agreement between Los Fresnos CISD and UTRGV, please raise your hand. The motion passes unanimously. Item number 7, discuss and take appropriate action to adopt a resolution authorizing school nurses to administer COVID vaccines in cooperation with Cameron County and to authorize stipend payments to these employees. May I have a motion? Mr. Castillo,
Motion to approve.
do I have a second? Ms. Quintero? Is there any discussion? There being no discussion, all in favor of item number 7, please raise your hand. The motion passes unanimously. We move on to announcements. Mr. Salazar.
Mrs. Garcia, members of the board, the only announcement we have this evening is that we have a special call meeting that will be held here at 6 p.m. on the 25th of the month.
That's not next week, right? That's the following week?
Following week.
Okay. Thank you. I also wanted to announce the committee chairs and those that are going to be serving on the committee. For facilities, we're going to have Mr. Garza chair that committee. And Ruben Trevino and Martin Castillo will be on that committee. Policy, Mr. Jesus Amaya will remain as chair, and Mr. Ray Farias and Ms. Leti Quintero will be on that committee. And then budget, they have the best chair. I will be chairing that. Just kidding. I'm going to chair the budget. And Mr. Castillo and Mr. Ray Farias will be on it. And that's all the announcements I have. Does anybody have anything they want to add? If not, I will adjourn the meeting. It is 6:35.